Chapter 48 Medical Sage of the Land of the Snows Sikita Tundra. The last one of the 4 academic halls of Buddhism is the Medicine Hall, number 16 on layout, also known as the Hall of Beishaja-guru, the Buddha of Healing. As the east wing room of the Yonghe Hall, it is located in the north of the Esoteric Hall. In Tibetan, it is called Menba Zatsang. Menba means medicine. The primary and ultimate goal of Buddhism is to save and ferry the sentient beings. In this physical world, the prompt way to this goal is to treat the patients and provide cures. Therefore, medicine is greatly valued. Being one of the 4 great zatsangs, the Medicine Hall holds tasks of medical teaching, which spotlights its important role, same as the State Academy of Buddhism. Concerning the matter of retrieving the dying and rescuing the wounded in daily life, Tibetan Buddhism is far superior to the Han Chinese Buddhism. The layout of the Medicine Hall is quite similar to the Shirun Hall, as they lie to the east and west of the Yonghe Hall symmetrically. A stereoscopic mandala is served at the center, which is a Karma mandala, Beishaja-guru mandala. The main Buddha served here is the Beishaja-guru, which takes no effort to speculate. You certainly wish to be of longevity after the healing, so Amitabha is served in the Medicine Hall as well, right? After gaining longevity, you would not like to catch Alzheimer's disease. Additionally, you would pray for intelligence, right? Thus, another statue is Master Tsongkhapa. Why? Since Master Tsongkhapa is the incarnation of Manjushri that presents wisdom. So to recap, treatment, longevity, and wisdom are pursued by the sentient beings. 3 Buddhist statues are served and enshrined in the Medicine Hall. Master Tsongkhapa is at the center, Beishaja-guru in the south, Amitabha in the north. Can you image them in your mind? You can deduct on your own which Buddhas are served based on the Buddhist doctrines before entering the hall. When the Yonghe Palace was transformed into the Lamasery, there was a Beishaja-guru altar next to the north of the Medicine Hall, which is presently the place of the Banchan building. The Beishaja-guru altar is utilized to serve for the Medicine Hall on religious rites. It was dismantled later as the Banchan building was to be built to be resided by the 6th Banchan Lama, who was planning to visit Beijing. We would have seen an intact Beishaja-guru altar today in its original appearance otherwise. There is a Tanka Siddhatapatra Han on the north wall of the Medicine Hall, one of Siddhatara on the south wall, and also many other tankas in the middle. These ones in the middle are not in big size but quite distinctive, as they are tankas in illustration of Compendium of Materia Medica, 本草纲目 in the version of the Qianlong Emperor. Of the 4 academic halls of Buddhism of the Tibetan Buddhism, the curriculum of the Medicine Hall is the shortest, which embodies its practicability as a matter of fact. This practicability is true to all the halls in the East compared with the ones in the West, though the status is the opposite in terms of Buddhist dogmas. The curriculum in the West halls is super difficult. For example, the Exoteric Hall, Shirun Hall. They are both obscure. However, one graduate can be promptly a junior monk official from 15 years' time of study in the Esoteric Hall. The curriculum of the Medicine Hall is also divided into 3 sessions, each of which lasts only 4 years, with 12 school years in all. That is to say, one may normally graduate, if everything goes well, for the 12-year study in the beginner class, intermediate class, and advanced class. Say, you start from 15 and graduate at 27. At the age of 27, you may practice medicine with a medical license named Menramba upon graduation. Meraba degree holder is the Lama who cheat patients after returning to the Mongolian tribes and banners. Hence, it is not true for the statement described on the Lamas by the Qianlong Emperor. Select intelligent Lamas to the Yonghe Palace, and they are expected to be back home after 3 to 4 years study. That's sheer nonsense. At least 12 years are needed to accomplish the study. Its beginner class is the general course that requires to recite sutras like Siddhartha Sutra, 白度母经, Shyama Sutra, 绿度母经, Siddhartha Dhrani Sutra, 佛说大白伞盖总持陀罗尼经, and Shilanagamana Sutra, 皈依经, etc. The intermediate class also requires to recite some advanced sutras specializing in medicine, for example, Bhaishya Raja Sutra, 药王经, Kantakanam Ashvaraja, White Horse Sutra, 马王白莲经, General Sutra of Bhaishya Raja, 总药王经, and hymns dedicated to Buddha, 佛赞. From the foregoing chapters, it has been mentioned that the first 2 grades of the Shiren Hall focus on sutras recitation, while the last grade is a specialized course like the learning of mandalas. Then why are sutras like these required to recite in the intermediate class of the medicine hall? That's because there is a set of theory system of Tibetan medicine. Traditional Chinese medicine venerates the theory of the interaction of man and nature. Tibetan medicine has its own theory, which is called the theory of demonic possession. What does it mean? It holds the view that one's illness is due to the fact that one is entangled by demons. Hence, first step to cure the patient is to recite the sutra to drive away the demon and then to treat the physical body with medicine. The illness or disease left over is caused by the demon. Demon should be expelled first, which leads to the requirement on the recitation of piles of sutras. Hence, the course focuses on these sutras titled the Bhaishya Raja. Same as the theory of traditional Chinese medicine, the theory of Tibetan medicine is somehow considered to be unscientific. However, it is not concerned on whether it is scientific or not. The fundamental theory of the intermediate class reckons the cause of your illness is demonic possession. The treatment is processed as demon to be expelled first and then illness to be eliminated. Is it understandable? Thus, quite a lot of sutras need to be recited. The advanced class of the Tibetan medicine is rather specialized. The main textbooks studied are Siksha Tandra, the 4 medical tandras, the 4 principal works on Tibetan medicine, 四部医典, written by Yutak Yotong Gombo, and another 2 medical works called Somarata, 越王药诊, and beaded herbs, on pharmacology, 金珠本草, or 药物学广论. Medicine has all the time been a traditional strength of the Tibetan Buddhism. It belongs to the medicine science of the 5 major sciences. It has never been a weak area since the beginning of the Tibetan Buddhism. Why? The earliest medical sutras were directly introduced together with the sutras of Buddhism from India. One book called Medicine and the Prescription of Banchan Vidya, Wu Ming Yi Fang, was introduced together with the Buddhist sutras from India at that time. It is separated into 2 books upon the translation by the Tibetan physicians. One is on medical practice called Medicine Shastra, 医学经. The other is on herbs application called Research of Herbs, 方药考. Therefore, the foundation of the Tibetan medicine is the Indian medicine. It had gradually come into being through a long-term practice by the Tibetan physicians, associated with traditional Chinese medicine and also much local medical experience, holding ethnic feature of systematic theory ultimately. Is it understandable? That's how Tibetan medicine formed. Sikita Tundra is the compulsory course, which is the core component of the medicine hall, and the students must master it very well. What kind of medical work is it? It is of no exaggeration to state that it is a masterpiece gathering Tibetan, traditional Chinese, and Indian medicine. Its basic theory is more comprehensive than traditional Chinese medicine. It starts from human anatomy to treatment principle and then to clinical services. Besides, it differentiates 8 departments to proceed the diagnosis, which is truly more advanced than traditional Chinese medicine. In traditional Chinese medicine, different diseases are diagnosed by one single physician. Regarding the detailed treatment, the Tibetan medicine has its own methodology. It has specialized medical instrument for the preparation of herbs. Sikita Tundra covers the whole process from basic theory, treatment, pharmacology, to medical instrument, bearing the well-deserved title Medical Master. Sikita Tundra was finished in the 8th century, which was the early era of the Tang dynasty. It consists of 4 works written by the medical sage of the Snowy Mountain, Yonghe Gampo. Yonghe Gampo was certainly not the first physician of the Tibetan area. Tibetan physicians emerged in Tibetan area as early as human existed, just like Huatuo, known as a physician of magic in traditional Chinese medicine. As far as the time of Yonghe Gampo is concerned, which is the 8th century, also the time of Songjian Gampo and Tricong Detzen, how many eminent physicians have been retained the popularity till today. 9 great physicians have ever emerged in Tibetan history. They are titled the 9 great physicians of Tibet or the 9 sage physicians of Tibet. Yonghe Gampo emerged relatively late amongst these 9 physicians. Hence, he associated with enough experience from the predecessors. He was titled the chief of the 9 sage physicians of Tibet. In other words, Tibetan medicine had been developed as early as the civilization started. Similar to Huatuo of Han areas, there have been Tibetan physicians since then, though the names are not familiar to us. These prescriptions and experience scripts were handed down to form the Sikita Tundra. Upon the completion of Sikita Tundra by Yonghe Gampo, the successive Tibetan physicians in history have compiled it with revisions and additions based on their own experience. How many years can you guess does the process take? 300 years. Until a transition period of Song Tu-Yuan dynasty, the 14th generation of Yonghe Gampo made a comprehensive revision to Sikita Tundra, which established the dominant place of the Tibetan medicine theory. Since then, it has been spread and handed down as the core works on the theory of the Tibetan medicine.